the Parliament of South Africa's ad hoc committee to nominate a person for appointment as public protector will today issue an invite calling for the public's nominations for candidates to be published on the parliamentary website for public comment. This as the current suspended public protector, South Africa, Busisiwe Mkhwebane's term of office comes to an end in October this year. Now, the criteria for appointment of the public protector, as set out in the Constitution, provides that the public protector must be a South African citizen, be a fit and proper person to hold that particular office, and comply with any other requirements prescribed by national legislation. The committee has until the end of August to complete its task. And to tell us more about the process of nominating the next public protector of South Africa, we are joined virtually by Mr. Cyril Xaba. He's the chairperson of Parliament's ad hoc committee to nominate a person for appointment as public protector. Mr. Xaba, great to have you. Thanks so much for your time this morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Leanne, and good morning to the viewers.
I know it's Monday morning. We were all in the same boat. Good morning, good evening, whatever it may be. But listen, big day ahead, right, and certainly a big couple of weeks ahead for you, if not months. The ad hoc committee is set now to nominate a person for appointment as public protector, which was established by Parliament. So what will guide you as part of the process leading to the appointment of the next public protector of South Africa as Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane's term comes to an end in October?
Leanne, thank you very much. And guiding us, besides that, we are issuing out an advert inviting the public to nominate a suitable candidate for appointment as public protector. We also have the Constitution. We also have the Public Protector Act. And as you would know, that the public protector has wide powers. They are enshrined in the Act itself, the founding legislation. You'll find them in the Executive Members Ethics Act. You also will find some of the powers in PRECA legislation. So you can see what type of a person we're inviting the public to nominate for appointment.
So let's go a little bit more into the type of person. I mean, I gave just a very brief outline of the kind of traits that you're looking for, but I would imagine there've got to be a lot of qualifications, and the person has to be at a certain level to be nominated to be the next public protector of South Africa. Perhaps you can talk us through some of those things that we're looking for.
Yes, it must be a fit and proper person, and that person must be a judge or must have been admitted as an attorney or an advocate who has worked for a period of not less than 10 years, or an attorney or an advocate who's lecturing in law and has been in these positions for not less than 10 years, a public administrator or someone with knowledge of public finance, but again with more than 10 years. Also a member of parliament with more than 10 years of service is welcome to actually apply for this position. Essentially, we will be testing a character, experience, a skill, and knowledge that this person possesses. And once we are satisfied that we have found a suitable candidate, we will then recommend to Parliament for nomination. After Parliament has supported the candidate with a 60% majority, must then write to the President, advise him of the candidate that has been nominated. Then the President will do the necessary. He will then appoint that person if he finds that we have followed process and the person indeed meets the qualification criteria and is fit and proper to be appointed to the position.
Does the public protector have to have a legal background? Is that a qualification that is necessary for this position?
Well, not necessarily a legal background. If you consider that an MP may be appointed, is appointable, a person who has served for a period of about 10 years in public administration or in public finance. So it's clear that does not necessarily mean that he or she must be a qualified attorney or an advocate, but it's recommended, given the responsibilities that this person would actually be performing. And also we're looking for leadership and managerial skills as well, because if you look at the army of staff that will fall under that person when he or she is appointed in office. In the last public protectors, I think all four of them have been advocates. I think all four of them. And I'm not saying that we are confined to appointing someone with experience in law, but if you look at most of the categories are looking for that type of a person. But I'm not surely predetermining that it must be a lawyer or someone with legal experience. But it's clear, if you look at the powers, what type of a person we're actually looking for.
Indeed, and that's quite interesting, because I imagine a lot of people, because of all of the previous public protectors have all been advocates or, in the legal profession, I think people have assumed that they would need to have a legal background. So it's quite interesting to know that. But one of the issues that's been raised, and I suppose a worrying issue, is the 2-week vetting process, and many people that are involved and in this are saying that it's far too short for a vetting process, but taking into consideration what happened in 2016, and when we look back, and I think it was with regard to Kevin Malunga, with the vetting process there, it stalled it quite a bit, and then it found that that he was not a naturalized South African, and this of course was a big issue. Talk to us about this 2-week issue of the going in and vetting the candidates.
Well, I don't want to call it vetting, Leanne. It's just a step below that is screening. Vetting is too an intense, it's quite an involved process, so to speak. But screening, it's less. It involves less scrutiny, as it were. And we will involve, 3 agencies to assist in this process: the State Security Agency, the SAPS, as well as our own HR, parliamentary HR division, to look at just the suitability. Because when you claim to have certain qualifications, someone with independent expertise must then be able to validate the information you are presenting before the interviewing committee. We also don't want to end up with a person with a criminal record. So someone must have at the back office that responsibility of doing all these checks, so that a person we present and finally nominate as a candidate is someone who's beyond reproach, someone who's not going to get us into a lot of controversies. Like, as you said, I mean, citizenship is an issue, and someone qualified to pronounce on that must then assist the committee in making that determination.
Yeah, I suppose an important issue and something that we need to speak about is the Section 194 inquiry into Busisiwe Mkhwebane's fitness to hold office has still not completed its work. We know that the deadline was meant to be at the end of May. It hasn't ended, it's still going on. How is this going to affect your program and timelines to complete your work, if at all?
Yes, Leanne, these are 2 independent processes, because ours was going to start anyway.
Okay.
An inquiry on inquiry, because the term of office of the current public protector ends in October, 14 of October. I think the correct date is the 14th of October. So we must then have started the process. If you look at when the process to appoint the current sitting public protector, when the process started, it was around the same time. And that committee also had to recommend to Parliament by the end of August. So you can see that it's not dependent on what happens in Section 194 inquiry. We're going to do it anyway.
Okay. So a quick question to you. So obviously from today, which is the 7th of July, we've invited the public to submit nominations for candidates. That'll be published on the parliamentary website for public comment. But just to get some clarity, will the screening process already be done before the names are shortlisted? And how many names should be shortlisted? Is there a limit on the amount of names that will be shortlisted by the committee?
Well, look, the committee must still determine how many days it would want to set aside for the interviews. Previously, it had 1 day, and I'm told that it was a very long day that they finished in the early hours of the morning, and that was a punishing schedule. So maybe this committee may look at 2 days, maybe may look at 1 day, but all of that is guided by the number of candidates we eventually shortlist for interviews. And because you must also look at how much time, the duration per interview, and yeah, all of that then gives you a sense of how much time you definitely need. And we are not looking at. Previously, I think there are about 14 candidates to look from. They've actually shortlisted the number to about 14 candidates. Maybe the committee, in its own wisdom, will then decide to say a number. If we are going to conduct interviews for so many days, then we are looking at this number.
Okay.
And of course, the shortlisting, some of it would be just administrative, where you look at whether the person look at the papers and against the qualification criteria and start doing the elimination, and then look at the screening, the results of the screening and the comments. Remember, we'll still publish the CVs for public comments as well.
Great.
And those comments will also inform the shortlisting exercise of the committee. So it's quite an involved process, but we'll report progress as we move along.
Good. We look forward to hearing from you. So we know that the current Public Protector's term ends on the 14th of October. Is that the date that the President needs to have appointed a new Public Protector by? Is there a deadline to the date when he needs to make that appointment?
Well, I will only tell you that the current Public Protector assumed office on the 19th of October 2016.
Okay.
So it means that we're looking at that date roughly for the assumption of office by the new Public Protector.
All right, long process. We're going to be following it every step of the way. No doubt we'll be speaking to you a lot. Mr. Cyril Xaba is the Chairperson of Parliament's ad hoc committee to nominate a person for the appointment as the Public Protector of South Africa, and he's talking to us about the process of nominating names for the Public Protector to succeed the current Public Protector, Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane.